The vanishing signal. The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Union buzzed with the voices of over 200 species. Holographic displays flickered across the vast dome ceiling, showing star charts, trade routes, and diplomatic missions in progress across the 12 spiral arms of the Milky Way. Ambassador Zorax of the Velturian Conclave adjusted his sensory appendages, trying to filter out the cacophony. He focused his attention on the human representative who had just entered the hall. Dr. Eleanor Rice walked with that curious human stride, a balanced mix of caution and confidence that had always fascinated him. Humans were newcomers to the galactic stage, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 70 Earth years ago. Yet in that brief time, they had established colonies across 37 star systems, forged trade agreements with 63 species, and somehow managed to both charm and unnerve nearly every advanced civilization they encountered. The Assembly recognizes Dr. Eleanor Rice of the United Earth Alliance, announced Grand Mediator Cluxon, their crystalline form shimmering as they spoke. You may present your proposal regarding the quantum communication network. Zorax noticed how every being in the chamber seemed to lean forward slightly. Humans had a gift for innovation that bordered on the miraculous. Their proposed improvements to the galactic communication grid promised to reduce lag times by 43%, a feat that the ancient Mithrai engineers had declared theoretically impossible. Thank you, Grand Mediator, Dr. Rice began, her voice clear and measured. Earth is pleased to offer our advances in quantum entanglement technology to benefit all species within the Union. Our engineers have. A sharp tone interrupted her presentation. Dr. Rice glanced down at her communication device, her expression shifting from confidence to confusion in an instant. She looked up at the Grand Mediator, her face paling. I apologize, but I must request an emergency recess. I've just received an urgent message from Earth Command. The Assembly erupted in murmurs. Emergency recesses were exceedingly rare in the 10,000-year history of the Galactic Union. Recess granted, Cluxon announced, their crystalline form pulsing with concern. We will reconvene in 2 standard hours. Zorax watched as Dr. Rice rushed from the chamber, already engaging frantically with her communication device. Something in her expression triggered an ancient predator-prey response in his neural network, a warning of danger that evolution had encoded in his species eons ago. He gestured to his aide, Mira, a young Velturian who had been studying human culture. Follow her discreetly. Something is wrong. 20 minutes later, Mira returned, her sensory appendages flat against her exoskeleton, a sign of distress. Ambassador, the human delegation is in chaos. All communication with Earth and human colonies has gone silent. Not just diplomatic channels, everything. Their quantum network, subspace relays, even their primitive radio broadcasts, all silenced simultaneously. Zorax felt a chill ripple through his exoskeleton. That's impossible. Even during their most catastrophic natural disasters or conflicts, humans maintain multiple redundant communication systems. The humans are saying the same thing. Dr. Rice is attempting to contact any human vessel outside their territory, but so far, nothing. Before Zorax could respond, his own communication device alerted him to an emergency session of the Security Council, the highest governing body of the Galactic Union. As one of 12 permanent members, his presence was mandatory. The Security Council chamber was smaller but no less impressive than the Grand Assembly Hall. When Zorax entered, he found representatives from the 11 other major powers already gathered around the circular table. Dr. Rice sat alone at the human station, her usual composure shattered. Grand Mediator Cluxon opened the session without ceremony. 17 minutes ago, our long-range monitoring stations detected a complete communications blackout from all human territories. No distress signals, no automated beacons, no civilian transmissions. Approximately 8 billion sentients have gone silent simultaneously. An attack, suggested Grek-Thar of the Orn hegemony, their battle mandibles clicking anxiously. Unlikely, responded Technical Director Zan of the Proxima Collective, their cybernetic interface scrolling data at blinding speed. Our sensor arrays detect no weapons signatures, no fleet movements, no radiation patterns consistent with large-scale conflict. Could it be a technical failure? Asked Matriarch Celendis of the Protean domains. Dr. Rice finally spoke, her voice strained but controlled. Impossible. Our communication infrastructure uses 15 different technologies across multiple planes of existence. They cannot all fail simultaneously without some unprecedented cause. Then what happened to your people, Dr. Rice? Jorax asked gently. I don't know, she answered, the simple admission more frightening than any theory she might have offered. The council debated for hours, proposing and discarding theories ranging from mass technological sabotage to collective madness. Eventually, they agreed on the only possible course of action, an investigation mission to human space. The Velturian scout vessel Swift Inquiry is the fastest ship within range, Grand Mediator Cluxon noted. Ambassador Jorax, would you lead this mission? Jorax's sensory appendages trembled slightly. The request was both an honor and a terrible burden. I will go, he agreed. Dr. Rias, will you join us? We may need your authorization codes to navigate human security systems. The human nodded grimly. I wouldn't stay behind if you ordered me to. Within 6 hours, the Swift Inquiry departed Union space, its advanced propulsion system pushing the boundaries of physics as it hurtled toward the Sol system, the heart of human territory. The crew consisted of Jorax, Dr. Rice, Mira, and specialists from 7 other species, each selected for their expertise in fields that might explain the silence. As they approached the outer boundary of human space, tension gripped the ship. Normally, this region buzzed with human activity, mining operations in the Kuiper Belt, research stations, and the famous welcome beacons that broadcast greetings in 800 languages. Now, there was nothing but silence. Approaching the Neptune defense perimeter, announced Trill, the Caxtonian navigator. Scanners show automated defense platforms are still active, but in standby mode. They should be hailing us, Dr. Rice said, her fingers flying over the ship's communication console. I'm transmitting my diplomatic override codes. Nothing. The platforms are not targeting us, Trill noted. Safe passage confirmed. As they continued inward through the solar system, the mystery deepened. They passed Jupiter with its massive gas mining operations, all apparently intact but utterly deserted. The famous Mars colonies, visible through high-resolution imaging, showed no signs of catastrophic damage, just an eerie stillness. Life support systems still functioning, reported Nix, the Hylian environmental specialist. Atmosphere composition within normal parameters. Power signatures stable. It's as if everyone just vanished. Dr. Rice stood rigid at the viewing portal, staring at the approaching blue-green sphere of Earth. No, she whispered. Not vanished. They're still there. How can you know that? Jorax asked. She pointed to the planet's night side. The lights. City lights are still on. Power grids functioning. If everyone were dead or evacuated, automated systems would have initiated shutdown protocols. As they established orbit around Earth, Jorax ordered a comprehensive scan. The results were baffling. The planet showed normal life signs, billions of them, but no movement, no electronic communications, no transport signatures. It's as if all of humanity simply stopped, Mira observed, her scientific detachment failing to hide her unease. Dr. Reyes suddenly straightened, her attention fixed on a particular reading from the scan. There's something broadcasting from the Antarctic research base. It's not a communication signal. It's some kind of quantum oscillation. Can you decode it? Jorax asked. No, but I can track it to its source. We need to land. After careful deliberation, the team decided to risk a landing near the Antarctic base. As the Swift Inquiry descended through Earth's atmosphere, they braced themselves for what they might find. What awaited them was beyond anything they had imagined. The research base appeared normal from the outside. a cluster of white buildings nestled against the stark landscape of ice and snow. But as they approached the main entrance, their environment suits registering the bitter cold, they noticed something peculiar. Through the windows, they could see humans, scientists in laboratory attire, but they were completely motionless. Dr. Reyes used her authorization codes to open the airlock. Inside, the scene was even more disturbing. Humans stood or sat frozen in mid-action, a researcher reaching for a tablet, another with coffee cup halfway to her lips, a third paused in the middle of writing something on a holographic display. "They're not dead," Nix confirmed, scanning the nearest human. "Vital signs are present, but incredibly slowed. Brain activity, respiration, pulse, all functioning at approximately 0.1% of normal human rates. Time dilation," suggested Trill, "some kind of stasis field. No technology I'm familiar with could do this on a planetary scale," Dr. Rice said, moving carefully between her frozen colleagues. They followed the quantum oscillation signal to a secure laboratory deep within the base. The door was locked with the highest level of security, but Dr. Rice's emergency codes finally granted them access. Inside, they found their first clue to the mystery. The laboratory contained a single piece of technology unlike anything the Union specialists had ever seen. It resembled a crystalline sphere about 1 meter in diameter, hovering above a pedestal without visible means of support. Within the sphere, patterns of light shifted and changed in complex, seemingly meaningful ways. Beside it, frozen in mid-gesture, stood an elderly human with a badge identifying him as Dr. Alexander Chen, Quantum Communications Director. And on the main display screen behind him, a message was frozen in the process of being sent to all of humanity. The team gathered around, reading the partially completed transmission. "Attention all human citizens. Hibernation Protocol Omega is now study. The Harbangers HAVBENDETCTED entering the Orion arm. Estimated time to galactic purge, 47 days. All humans will enter in URLQ new antium as US pension until the 380. The message ended there, cut off mid-sentence as whatever had affected humanity had taken hold. Zorax turned to Dr. Reyes, whose face had gone completely white. "Doctor, what are harbingers? What is a galactic purge?" "I've never heard of either," she whispered. "But I think we've just discovered why humanity went silent." And somewhere in the darkness between the stars, something ancient and terrible was moving toward the heart of the galaxy. The revelation. The investigation team stood frozen almost as still as the humans around them, the implications of Dr. Chen's message sinking in like a stone dropped into dark water. "The harbingers, a galactic purge," Dr. Rice repeated, her voice hollow. "Whatever this threat is, humanity chose collective neural suspension rather than trying to fight or flee." Zorax's analytical mind raced through the possibilities. A species capable of threatening an entire galaxy would surely be known to the Union archives. Vex, the archivist from the ancient Thraxian Concord, shook their crystalline head. "Not necessarily. The Union has existed for merely 10,000 years. The galaxy is billions of years old. There could be cycles of civilization and extinction that predate our records." Dr. Rice approached the crystalline sphere, careful not to touch it. "This device, I've never seen anything like it in our laboratories. The quantum signature it's emitting. It's somehow resonating with the neural patterns of every human simultaneously." "Could this be why you alone were unaffected?" Mira asked. "Because you were outside the range of this device when it activated." "Possibly," Dr. Rice nodded. "Or because I was the designated external contact. Someone had to remain aware to interface with the galactic community if needed." Nix, who had been scanning the frozen Dr. Chen, called out excitedly. "I'm detecting minimal but present neural activity. His thoughts are still processing, just incredibly slowly. If we could interface with his consciousness somehow." Dr. Reyes moved to a nearby terminal and began typing rapidly. The Antarctic base houses our most advanced mind-machine interface technology. If we can boost the signal and match the quantum frequency. For the next 6 hours, the team worked frantically to establish communication with the suspended Dr. Chen. Jorax observed with growing admiration as Dr. Reyes demonstrated why humans had earned their reputation for ingenuity under pressure. She repurposed equipment, wrote new interface protocols, and constructed a makeshift quantum amplifier from components that weren't designed for such a purpose. Finally, the main screen flickered and stabilized, showing a visual representation of Dr. Chen's conscious thoughts. A stream of mathematical equations, star charts, and fragments of ancient texts. Dr. Chen, Dr. Reyes spoke into the interface. This is Eleanor Reyes. We need to understand what's happening. What are the harbingers? The response came slowly, the words forming letter by letter across the screen. The harbingers are the caretakeers, the pruiners. They return every 50,000 years to harvest advance to civilizations. They have this at least 987 times before. Jorax felt his exoskeleton grow cold. How do you know this? We found the evidence 3 years ago. Archaeological digest on Maris, then MERCURI, then Titan. All show the civilizations that ended repeatedly at the same time, 50,000 years ago. Different species. All joining simultaneously. Why haven't you shared this with the Union? Mira asked, her appendages trembling with distress. We need to see her to I. Then, we detcte their apiroichich. Physics montages agio. Quantum theories turbances. At the edge of the HE Orion arm, the signature MACTGD, the EXTINCTIONS. Dr. Reyes leaned closer to the screen. But why this response? Why neural suspension? They hunt TC neurology, HFY signatures, communication. We theorized TH8. If we could reduce our technological footprint to near zero while maintaining life support, we might be over located. The QANTM suspension pukies human consciousness into a state that requires minimal energy to sustain. A hibernation. Jorax realized. You're playing dead. Yes, the harbingers take what they see inside your ripe civilizations, those that have give a certain technological specialty. They harvest the technology, the knowledge, possibly the evolutionis of the species. Then they move allowing younger civilizations to develop until AE next CYCL. The implication sent shockwaves through the team. The oldest members of the Galactic Union, the Thraxians, the Velturians, the Proxima Collective, had histories stretching back thousands of years, but none had reached the 50,000-year threshold. How long will humanity remain in suspension? Asked Trill. APPROXIMATELY1, standard year. Our modals SWGESTVE harbingers spend 3 to 4 months at harvesting a GLXY before returning to what EV or dark space they inhabit between CYCLEs. Jorax's mind raced with the tactical implications. The Union must be warned. We need to prepare defenses or consider similar suspension protocols. No. The response came faster now. Do not alert the harbingers with unusual activity. They are drawn to PANIC, to synergy is in communication and energy use. That is what we enactdsuspanichlan, without doing. The fewer who know, the better our chances. But the other species, Mira began, may be safe if they continue normal operations. Our research is suggests they harbingers target specifically those civilizations approaching a certain development or eshold. Humanity HAS BE and ADVA and CN exponentially. We were likely to be pyramidary targetes. Dr. Rice paced the laboratory, the implications clear in her troubled expression. So humanity sacrificed its active presence in the galaxy to avoid extinction. But what about me? Why am I still conscious? Protocol requires one ambassador remain active to monitor and adapt if necessary. You were solicited BACSD on your diplomatic position and psychological profile. Your communication device should recivdaldbrifying during TACQRITYKONCLMETing. Dr. Rice checked her device, finding an encrypted file that had indeed arrived during the council session, but remained unopened in the chaos. What should we do now? Jorax asked, addressing both Dr. Chen and Dr. Rice. Return to the Union. Maintain absolute authority about the harbingers. Tell them humanity is conducting a temporary isolation for internal technological advancement, a cultural parasitic, anything but the truth. And if these harbingers come for other species in the Union? Vex asked. Then those species must make their own choices. But FOREWAR and INK may I TRIGGR the VRI TATASTROPE we seek to avoid. The harbingers sense fair. Preparation. Unusual PTTRNs. A heavy silence fell over the team as they contemplated the impossible choice before them. Warm the galaxy and potentially doom it, or keep humanity's secret and hope the harbingers passed by the Union's worlds. Dr. Rice finally broke the silence. I need to speak with Ambassador Jorax privately. Once they were alone in an adjacent laboratory, surrounded by more frozen humans, Dr. Rice turned to Jorax, her expression grave but determined. What I'm about to share goes beyond my authorization, but I believe the situation warrants it. Before communications went dark, I received a partial message from Earth Command, suggesting that this suspension isn't merely passive. Humans aren't just hiding. What do you mean? Jorax asked. The quantum suspension technology has another purpose. While our bodies appear dormant, our collective consciousness is being channeled into something called the quantum collective. Billions of human minds working together in a virtual dimension, developing countermeasures against the harbingers. Jorax's appendages quivered with surprise. You're not just hiding. You're planning to fight back. Exactly. But for this to work, the harbingers must believe we've simply gone dormant or destroyed ourselves. Any hint that we're actively developing defenses would draw immediate attention. So what do you propose we tell the Union? Dr. Rice looked out through the laboratory window at the frozen Antarctic landscape. The truth, but not all of it. We tell them humanity has entered a period of cultural isolation, a spiritual hibernation tied to ancient Earth prophecies. Most species in the Union already find human religious practices bewildering. They'll accept this explanation. And the real threat? We monitor, We wait, and if the harbingers do appear, you'll have one advantage: a human ally who knows what's coming. 2 weeks later, Ambassador Jorax stood before the full Galactic Union Assembly, delivering a carefully crafted explanation for humanity's silence. As expected, the diverse species of the Union found the concept of a great meditation unusual but acceptably within the range of bizarre behaviors they'd come to expect from humans. Dr. Rice stood at his side, playing her role perfectly, a solemn representative of a species engaged in an important cultural ritual. The Security Council knew slightly more: that humanity was conducting a technological reset to address certain developmental vulnerabilities, but even they were not told about the harbingers. As the assembly session ended, Grand Mediator Cluxon approached them. "This human ritual, how long will it last?" "Approximately 1 standard galactic year," Dr. Rice replied smoothly. "We appreciate the Union's understanding and respect for our practices." Of course, Cluxon's crystalline form shimmered with what might have been skepticism. "Though I must say, for a species as communicative and active as humans to suddenly embrace such stillness is remarkable." "Sometimes," Jorax offered, "those who move the fastest are also the first to recognize when it is time to be still." As they departed the assembly hall, Dr. Rice and Ambassador Jorax gazed up at the star-filled dome above. Somewhere out there, the harbingers were approaching, and somewhere within the quantum realm, billions of human minds were racing to develop a defense not just for humanity, but potentially for all sentient life in the galaxy. "Do you think it will work?" Jorax asked quietly. Dr. Rice smiled, a small, tight expression that held both determination and fear. "If there's one thing you should have learned about humans by now, Ambassador, it's that we are at our most dangerous when we appear to be doing nothing at all." And throughout the galaxy, for the first time in recorded history, the silence of humanity spoke volumes to those who knew how to listen.